All right, this is the fourth and final part of multiplying polynomials, and it's also the most difficult part. Here's an application problem for you. There's three examples, and all three are completely different, but they have the same goal, is to find the missing variable. So what we're asked for is to find, we're given a polynomial expression, and we're asked what n is once the expression is simplified, and they give us what it's simplified to. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do this exactly the same way that you would attack a problem if this didn't have an n in it. The n just acts as an extra variable, just kind of keep it along with it. So I'm going to copy down my first quantity. So I have 14x5 plus 7x3 plus x minus, Now over here I'm going to FOIL. I'm going to keep it in parentheses though. I have x times 2nx to the 2. So keep your 2 and your n out in front. Then all you deal with is x1 times x2, so that's x3. Okay? Then again, you have your x1 times your positive 1. So x times 1 is 1x. Now I'm done with x. I'm on to my 29. So 29 times 2nx to the second power. 29 times 2 is a positive 58. You keep the n, and you keep your x to the second power. Finally, you have 29 times 29, which gives you 29. I mean 29 times 1, I'm sorry. All right, that was our first step. We FOILed this. Now, this becomes a subtraction problem. You have 14x5 plus 7x3 plus x minus this quantity. Because it's subtraction here, you have to change every single sign in this quantity. So it's a positive 2 turns into a negative. Positive 1x is a negative. A positive 58 becomes a negative, and a positive 29 also becomes a negative. Okay, so we switch every single one of our signs in the second quantity. Once you change them, you could change this minus into a plus. All right. Now I'm going to line up by like terms, okay? Or I guess I should say in descending order. So I have 14x to the 5th power. I'm going to jot that down here. The next term in descending order, if there's no other x to the 5th, which there isn't, cross that off, would be an x to the 4th. If you look here, there are no other x to the 4th powers. Now the next would be an x to the 3rd. And I have a plus 7x3 still looking for an x to the 3rd. Oh, here's another one. It's negative 2nx to the 3rd. Okay, and no others. So now I'm on to my x to the 2nd. So, I forgot to cross that off. I have negative 58 nx to the 2nd. Okay. There are no other x to the 2nds. So I'm on to the x. So I have a plus x, so copy that down. And minus 1x. no other x, and the last term is negative 29. So I just wrote this into descending order because our answer, or what it gets simplified to, is in descending order. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write what it gets simplified to underneath based on like terms. So we have 14x to the fifth. That should go under here. We have negative 17x to the third. We have 2x to the third, so I'm going to put it over here. And again, I couldn't combine these two because this one has an n. So they're technically, even though they both have an x to the 3, they're not like terms because of the n. And I have negative 696x to the second. So that should go underneath this 58nx to the second. And minus 29 should go under minus 29. All right. Let's compare. So, well, first of all, x minus x, they go away. Okay. These match. Okay, they're perfect match, so I don't have to do anything with it. Somehow they have these two numbers turn into a negative 17 x to the third. So whatever n is here makes these two terms turn that into a negative 17 x to the third power. Somehow they have this, whatever n is, changes this negative 58 nx to the second into negative 696 x to the second. And negative 29 is the same here. The easiest thing for you to do is to find what changes this negative 58 nx to the second into negative 696 x to the second. Okay, and what you're going to want to do to figure that out is you're going to take the coefficients. Something times negative 58 turns this number into negative 696. In order to figure out what you multiply negative 58 by, you have to take your negative 696 and divide that by negative 58. Okay. Now, your answer as to what n will be your quotient. So if you were to put that in your calculator, negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive answer. So cross those two off. And if you were to throw that in your calculator, you're going to get your answer to be positive 8. So 8 is your answer. You could check this by substituting your 8 in here. Oh wait. Maybe you should use a calculator because I just chose the wrong answer. 696 divided by 58 is 12, not 8. I'm sorry. Don't use your brain, use your calculator. So, I'm sorry, that should be 12. Okay. So if you were to substitute 12 in for n, you'd have, I'm going to put it up here, 7x to the third minus 2 times 12 x to the third. 7x to the third minus 24 x to the third gives you a negative 17. Okay, so basically what you want to do is you want to do every single step that you normally would if there was no n in here. So you'd multiply first if you're going by order of operations. Then you'd combine the two quantities. Okay, you switch all of your signs. I was trying to combine like terms. The only like terms that I really had was x minus 1x. The rest of them I could not combine because I had an n there. Okay, that's where the problem becomes different. Once you have them written down in descending order, underneath you're going to write what it gets simplified to, and you write it underneath their like terms. And then you see where you only have one arrow. See, there's two arrows here to the new simplified term, but here was only one. It's easier to figure out your answer if there's only one n that you're dealing with. All right? No combining terms. You take the numbers or the coefficients and divide. Whatever your answer is here is your answer there. I have two more examples. I'll show you them in the next video.